Hello and welcome back to another episode of Revolutionize Your Life with Jenkins, where we explore the power of mindset, personal growth, and stepping into your full potential. I'm your host, Lee Jenkins, and today we're diving into a concept that's critical for anyone who's serious about achieving big goals and creating lasting change in their life. So let me ask you, have you ever set a bold, exciting goal only to find yourself suddenly overwhelmed with fear and doubt as you begin to move towards it? You might have felt like everything was going fine and then, bam, you hit a wall. Well, that wall is what I like to call the resistance wall. The resistance wall is that emotional and psychological barrier that, it shows up when we step out of our comfort zone and into the unknown. It's when fear, doubt, and anxiety rear their ugly heads and suddenly everything feels more difficult than it did before. It's as if, your mind is trying to pull you back to where it's safe and familiar. But here's the thing. Hitting that resistance wall is actually a good sign. It means that you're on the verge of growth. You see, if what you're doing doesn't scare you a little, or perhaps a lot, you're probably not pushing yourself far enough. Growth and fear are two sides of the same coin. So today we're going to talk about how to recognize that resistance wall and for what it is, why it shows up, and most importantly, how can you break through it to reach the other side? Because you know what? I promise you, the life you want, the success you dream of is waiting for you just behind that wall. So if you've been feeling stuck or held back by fear lately, stick with me for the next 30 minutes as we explore how to move past the resistance wall and into a life of freedom, growth, and achievement. To kick things off, I want you to reflect for a moment. Think about a big goal or dream that, you might have right now. Maybe it's something related to your career, your personal growth, or even a relationship. Now, think about how that goal makes you feel. Are you excited about it? Does it give you energy? But also, does it bring up feelings of doubt and fear? That's normal. That's totally normal, by the way. Those feelings of fear and doubt are actually signals that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. You're moving into a new territory, and your mind is responding by trying to pull you back to safety. This is the resistance wall. And it's something we all face when we're going after something bigger than what we've done before. So in today's episode, we're going to break down exactly what the resistance wall is, why it shows up, and how you can break through to reach the goals that, matter most to you. All right, so now that we've introduced the concept of the resistance wall, let's dive deeper into what it really is and why it shows up when we set big, exciting goals for ourselves. Now, the resistance wall is that moment when you've committed to a goal. You started moving forward, and then, boom, suddenly fear, doubt, anxiety all flood in. It's almost as if your entire system is saying, hold on, are we really doing that? Now, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even overwhelming. And in that moment, many people stop. They hit the wall. And instead of pushing through, they retreat back to their comfort zone, abandoning the goal altogether. But let me tell you something important. The resistance wall isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that you are growing. Now let me share a personal story with you. Years ago, I set a goal that, scared me to the core. It was a big, bold vision of my career, something that was far outside of what I had ever done before. I was excited at first, full of energy and motivation. I could see the possibilities so clearly. But then, as I started taking action towards that goal, things changed. Doubt crept in. Fear started to take over. I began to question everything. Was I really capable of achieving this? What if it failed? What if this was a huge mistake? That, my friends, was exactly the resistance wall. And let me tell you, it was intense. I was ready to give up more than once. But here's the thing. I had learned something important about this wall. I knew that if I could just push through it, if I could keep moving forward despite the fear, I would reach a whole new level of success. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. I moved through the resistance wall. I removed that resistance wall from my path. And on the other side was the growth, the opportunity, and the success that I had envisioned. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't easy, but it was absolutely worth it. And here's why this happens. Whenever you set a goal that's outside of your comfort zone, something that's bigger and better than what you've done before, your subconscious mind sees it as a threat. You've been living basically with a certain set of beliefs and behaviors, and your subconscious has gotten very comfortable with those. So when you start to entertain new bold ideas, what we call Y-type ideas, it triggers feelings of doubt, worry, and fear. Now, this is your subconscious mind trying to pull you back to what's familiar. It's like a thermostat in your house. If the temperature drops too low, the thermostat kicks in, so it brings it back up to a comfortable level. Well, your subconscious mind works in a similar way. It senses that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, so it tries to bring you back to where you've been operating all along. Safe, predictable, but guess what? Limited. But here's the thing. Everything you want is on the other side of that wall. The resistance wall is just your mind's way of trying to keep you in the same place. But you don't have to listen to it. In fact, you can learn to recognize the wall for what it is. It's a sign that you're about to break through to something greater. This is the part where most people end up getting stuck. They hit the resistance wall and they think, this must be a sign that I'm not ready or I'm not capable. But that's not true at all. The people who achieve big things in life, the ones who seem to reach their goals effortlessly, they face the same wall. The difference is, well, you know what? They push through it. So I want you to remember this. Fear is a natural part of growth. If you're not feeling a little scared, then you're probably not pushing yourself far enough. Growth and fear go hand in hand. Think about a time in your life when you faced something new and scary, but you pushed through anyways. Maybe it was starting a new job, moving to a new city, or even making a big decision in your personal life. How did it feel once you broke through that initial fear? Probably pretty amazing, I would imagine, right? Well, that's because when you push through the resistance wall, you expand your comfort zone. And what once felt impossible suddenly becomes part of your new reality. Alright, now that we've talked about what the resistance wall is and why it shows up, let's get into the most important part, how to push through it and keep moving forward towards your goals. Now, I'm going to share a few powerful practical steps that you can use whenever you feel yourself hitting that wall of fear and doubt. The first step is to recognize the resistance wall for what it is. It's easy to mistake fear and doubt as signs that we should stop, that maybe the goal is too big or we're not ready, but in reality, hitting the resistance wall is a natural part of the growth process. It's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're moving in the right direction. When you start feeling anxious, doubtful, or overwhelmed as you work towards a goal, take a step back and ask yourself, is this the resistance wall? If the fear is coming up just as you're about to make progress on something meaningful, well, that's your clue. Simply recognize that this is part of the process. It's part of the process that can help reduce its power over you. It's like shining a light on something that was once hidden. It stops being so scary. Next, we need to talk about your vibration. When you're feeling fear, doubt, or anxiety, it means that you're in a low vibration. You're focusing on, well, the potential negatives. What could go wrong? What you might lose, or why things won't work out. This kind of thinking puts you in a negative emotional state, and it becomes harder to take action. So, to move past the resistance wall, you need to shift your vibration. This means shifting your focus from fear to belief and from doubt to faith. Here's how you do it. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, start focusing on what could go right. Visualize yourself succeeding. Picture what life will be like once you've achieved your goal. When you do this, your vibration naturally shifts from fear to excitement, and that's the energy you need to push through the wall. Now, one way to shift your vibration quickly is to practice gratitude. Now, take a few moments. Take a few moments and think about everything that is going well. Think about everything that's going well in your life, everything you're thankful for, and everything you've already achieved. This simple exercise will raise your vibration and help you approach your goal from a place of confidence and possibility rather than fear. Now, the third step, this is critical. You have to take action. Take action even when you're afraid. You've heard the saying, feel the fear and do it anyways. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. The fear won't necessarily go away the moment you recognize it, but you don't have to let it stop you. The key to breaking through the resistance wall is to take action, despite the fear. This is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Action, even small little steps, builds momentum. And the more action you take, the less power the fear has over you. So when you feel yourself, when you really feel yourself hitting that wall, that resistance wall, I want you to commit to taking one small step. It doesn't have to be a huge leap, just one step forward. Maybe it's making a phone call, sending an email, or researching something that brings you closer to your goal. The action itself doesn't matter as much as the fact that you're moving forward. And once you've taken that first step, the next step becomes a little easier. And then the next, and the next. Before you know it, you'll be on the other side of the resistance wall. So here's another powerful tool that you can use to push through the resistance wall, and that's visualization. See, visualization is about creating a mental picture of yourself successfully achieving your goal. When you visualize, you not just imagine how things might turn out, you're creating a mental rehearsal for success. I want you to take a few minutes every day. Do it every single day. Close your eyes and picture yourself on the other side of the resistance wall. Imagine what your life will look like once you've achieved your goal. How will you feel? What will be different? The more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it will become for you, and the more motivated you'll be to keep pushing through. Now, when you visualize your success, you start to align your thoughts. You align your thoughts, your emotions, and actions with that success. It helps you build confidence and strengthens your ability that you can achieve your goal. And as we've talked about earlier, when you shift your vibration to a positive, high energy state, you're much more likely to take action and keep moving forward. So now that we've covered the tools and strategies to push through the resistance wall, there's one key insight I want to leave this with you, and that is fear and growth go hand in hand. If you're not feeling a little scared or uncertain as you move towards your goal, then chances are you're not pushing yourself hard enough. The resistance wall is not a sign that something is wrong. It's not. It's a sign that you're on a verge of something amazing. You're on the verge of growth. You're moving into new territory, breaking through old limitations, and stepping into the higher version of yourself. So here's the truth. Everyone, and I mean everyone, who has ever achieved something significant has faced the resistance wall. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones, they keep moving forward, even when it's uncomfortable. They've learned that the fear is a normal part of the process, and they've developed the resistance to push through it. Think of the resistance wall like, it's like a rite of passage. Every time you hit the wall, you're being given an opportunity to grow, to stretch, and to become more than you were before. The fear doesn't go away completely, but it becomes something you'll learn to manage and move through, rather than something that stops you. So I want you to take this insight with you today. When fear shows up, it means that you're on the right track. It means that you're on the right path. So embrace it. Recognize it for what it is and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Because, you know what? On the other side of the resistance wall is the success, the growth, and the life that you've been working towards. All right, now that we've explored how to push through the resistance wall and continue growing beyond fear, it's time for you to take action. As you know, understanding these concepts is just the first step. What really matters is how you apply them in your life. So here's what I'd like you to do, and maybe try to do it today. And number one is identify a goal that scares you. Think about a goal you've been working towards, or maybe one that you've been avoiding because it feels too big or too overwhelming. I want you to write it down. It could be something in your career, your relationship, your personal growth, whatever it is. Make sure it's a goal that pushes you beyond your comfort zone. The kind of goal that brings up feelings of fear and doubt. That's the goal where you're most likely to encounter the resistance wall. Now, number 2, take one small step. See, once you've identified that goal, take one step towards it today. It doesn't have to be something huge, just small. Some small actionable step that moves you in the direction of your goal. Now remember, action builds momentum. And the more you move forward, the more power you'll have to break through the resistance wall. Now, number 3 is share your experience. I'd love to hear about your journey. What are you up to? I want to hear about your journey as you push through that resistance wall. Share your story with me. Share your story with me on social media or send me a message. What are you working towards? What fears are coming up for you? How are you taking action despite the fear? Let's create a community of people who are committed to growth, no matter how scary it feels. You can find me on social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, or you can go to my website at leemjenkins.com. I'm here. I'm here to support you and help you move forward on your path to success. Now, if you found today's episode helpful, make sure to do these 3 things. Number 1, subscribe to the podcast. Hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode of Revolutionize Your Life. Each week, we're diving into the strategies and mindset shifts that will help you take control of your life and achieve your biggest goals. You don't want to miss out on these valuable insights. So number 2 is share this episode. If this message resonated with you, there's a good chance it could help someone else. Maybe share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a family member who, might be struggling with their own resistance wall. Let's spread the message that fear and growth go hand in hand, and that we're all capable of pushing through to the other side. Now, number 3 is stay connected. I'm always excited to hear from you, whether it's about an insight you gain from the podcast or a breakthrough you've experienced in your own life. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or maybe check out my website at leemjenkins.com, like I've already mentioned. So to stay connected and keep the conversation going, let's really try to have a chat. Your journey inspires me. And together, you know what? We can create a life that's full of growth, success, and fulfillment. Remember, the resistance wall is just a temporary challenge. It's not a permanent roadblock. It's a signal. It's a signal that you're on the verge of something great. So the next time you feel fear or doubt creeping in, know that you are growing. That's what you're doing. You're growing. So keep moving forward, one step at a time, and you know what? I promise you'll break through to the other side. I want to thank you for joining me on today's episode of Revolutionize Your Life with Leem Jenkins. I can't wait to hear about your breakthroughs and the incredible things that you're going to achieve. So until next time, keep believing in yourself and the limitless potential that lies within you. I'm Lee Jenkins.